Hi, this is George from Samsung Biologics. I am the Quality Digital Transformation Lead here. I will be going over some quality digital transformation efforts here at Samsung Biologics. Now, to go over the vision that we have, we intend to disrupt the quality compliance and regulatory frameworks, operating models, and standards for biologics established in the last 30 years. By industry, through the use of digitalization and analytics wherever possible, efficiency, and within compliance and current and future regulatory requirements. Now, to go over some of the large roadmap that we have, this is the general high-level overview. I will be focusing a little bit more on the business metrics and the real-time data monitoring aspects within this presentation. Now, just to start with some general steps. Now, we all are probably here where we have what is considered big data. Now, this is where our data volume's relatively high. The rate at which we create data is very high. The data accuracy and availability of data is something that we're trying to improve usually. We're trying to connect and structuralize our data so we could start enabling data analysis and future data analytics down the road. With that in mind, I wanted to go over some of the aspects of something more complicated. Now, we are connecting a lot of our data sets within our GMP areas and our non-GMP business areas, such as our HR systems, some of our financial systems, along with our QMS, LIMS, SAP, manufacturing systems, etc., into a data warehouse. So we have successfully done that so far. So a lot of our data we would consider is pretty structured. Data mapping has alleviated some of the data accuracy problems that we've had in the past. And now we are able to start visualizing and creating insights to start utilizing this data to better our business. Now, to go over some of the while we have a lot of different efforts and what we're doing with this data these days, I will be going over one of the more complicated efforts. This utilizes data across multiple areas, and that is our cost of quality program. This is more of an example. Now, going over the cost of quality, that does include cost of poor quality, which is the failure cost, and also the good quality, which is more the preventative cost, and how those costs impact your bottom line or your profit. Now, within the cost of quality, there tends to be what you would focus on for visible costs, deviations, rejection, retesting. A lot of the times there are invisible costs that are associated, and they often get ignored and are not considered when you're trying to calculate costs to the company. Now, this program is trying to reach an optimal point of cost, where in cost of poor quality, where we would try to reduce failures by, say, trying to increase prevention. So those are common actions that you'll see in a quality organization or within a GMP regulated area. Now, focusing a little bit on the cost of good quality, where we are trying to reach an optimal total cost of quality. Things that tend to be here are maybe overtraining or increased preventive maintenance, or such as increased number of EM sampling points that would be considered unnecessary. Now, this is not to say that we are trying to reduce costs and trying to reduce level of quality, but it's to reach an acceptable level of quality. Okay. Now, this model here, there are many different models of cost of quality, but for the sake of this presentation, this is the PAF model, and it is the easiest one to explain. So when we're looking at cost of good quality, we're trying to reduce costs to while maintaining a acceptable level of quality. And looking at our cost of poor quality, if you reduce failures, obviously the level of quality is increased. So we are trying to utilize this data warehouse that we've established to try to monitor these types of cost impact to our company. Now, the importance of cost of quality today is kind of, it's pretty high. To be an industry leader, you need to understand the ins and outs of what's going on within your company in terms of quality and cost. So in order to do that, you need to be monitoring it. So increasing productivity, eliminating defects, increasing the level of quality and overall patient safety, and also reducing your costs, and also ultimately strengthening your standing as a world leader in pharmaceutics. So the cost of quality monitoring tool, which we've created, is also correlating compliance risk to cost. So, being a quality mindseted organization, it's not all about cost. There is also the compliance risk associated to that as well. So there are two factors that we are also looking at. Now, in real-time costing, and all of this is real-time. Now, this is just an example. The example is here, Invalid Runs. A lot of it is unfortunately redacted because obviously it's confidential information, but you get a general sense from at least the depiction here. So we are able to now monitor where all of our invalids are, what are they associated with, and the costs associated with it. So cost meaning cost of the test itself, cost of the man hours, consumables, reagents, equipment availability, all of those things all rolled into where are those costs being most, what methods, which labs, which areas, and we are able to now target specific methods or method types or specific areas based on that cost and the frequency that it happens. Because it's readily known that one, like let's say a bioburden water test versus a bioassay or sterility test, the cost is significantly different between the two. While definitely reduction of overall invalids are needed, the costs associated to that and the impact to the company are vastly different depending on those. So those are some consideration for senior management to have. And with this tool, you would be able to understand and target specific things as they need. We've also created tools regarding asset management. Now, this example here is a good example of where we are able to see where corrective maintenance are happening the most, which plants, what area, over which time, what equipments, what processes, and taking a look at, did we reduce the preventative maintenance at that time? Is there any correlation to the amount of preventive maintenance cost? As you can see in this example, the corrective maintenance down here in the purple is quite large. And then the corrective maintenance is quite large, and then the preventative maintenance is quite low for the selected types. So that's something that can be looked at by stakeholders. This should be quite inversed. Preventive maintenance should be a bit higher than, the preventative maintenance should be a bit higher than the corrective maintenance. And that allows the network to basically target specific areas, the biggest bang for your buck. Also taking a look at environmental excursions. Now, these are types of things that happen all the time. At what area, what plant, what batches associated to it, which sample types, is it HVAC, is it water, is it clean steam? We're able to correlate those costs to specific events, and we're able to also start coming up with patterns. Is it in the same multiple connected areas? Is it all within the same room? Is it all within the same normal walking routes within the area itself? And a lot of those things these days we're able to start visualizing on a day-to-day basis, all in real time. Now, some of the next steps that we are going to try to move forward to is to ultimately come up with a meter. Now, everything that I've shown so far is how we've progressed to date, where we are able to select a specific event and then analyze that event in related associated areas. But we want to create the whole picture. So let's take a look at a specific project or a specific batch and everything associated to that batch in terms of costs of good quality and costs of poor quality. The cost of goods, the man hours, all of that within associated to that batch. How effective are we in creating that specific, manufacturing that specific product or that specific manufacturing for that specific client? Are we very consistent? Are we not? Are we suddenly seeing various failures associated to that? And ultimately, that allows us a good visibility to our net profit based off of our, cost of poor quality or cost of quality in general, and associating it to compliance risk as a whole. Now, I went through that fairly quickly. Now, there are many other things that I could talk about or we could start sharing, PAT versus digital auditing, all of those things. But I chose a topic today to basically go over some of the more business side of the advantages that we've seen with utilizing a data warehouse and starting to connect all of our business and GMP networks together. Okay. Well, thank you very much.